the lawyer and the Fed.
What's up? Lawyer and the Fed. And we're back at it again. Lawyer here, as usual. I'm rolling with the Fed. Say hello, Fed Mang.
Yo, what up? Fed here, aka Fetty Crocker, lawyer in the Fed. So here we are. We got another one, another UFC champ checking in. I am super excited. This is probably my favorite fighter of all time, no joke. And being from New Jersey, he's kind of like a cousin to us Long Islanders. Anyway, let's go, lawyer. Let's do it.
So as promised, without any further ado, introducing pound for pound one of the scrappiest motherfuckers in UFC history, former UFC lightweight champion of the world, Frankie, the Answer, Edgar. What's up, Frankie? We're ready to go. Let's get right into it. Just tell these skags where you're at in case they didn't know. And the name of the greatest MMA show to pop up in 2020.
All right, here we go. 5 rounds with lawyer and the Fed.
You damn skippy, Franco. So as always, 5 rounds, 5 questions in rapid fire succession. We won't waste any time, so let's get it. Since the Fed has always had a crush on you, I'm going to kick it over to him for round 1.
So Frankie, obviously, as I stated earlier, huge fan here since the very beginning. I think your series with Maynard was one of the best in MMA history, and in particular, your triumphant, amazing comeback win in the 3rd fight was probably the most dramatic, victorious, triumphant moment in MMA history, if you ask me. So we want to know, take us through the emotional journey and what it felt like to finally put Gray behind you and knock that motherfucker out cold.
Round 1.
My emotions and my comeback KO over Maynard. Yeah, that was something I'll never forget. Ending emphatically like that with a knockout. You know, we had the 2 fights beforehand, and honestly, in the 2nd, 3rd fight, I don't remember much of it, but I definitely remember afterwards the feeling of just that finality. I was pumped to be able to put that dude away. We had a history, not just because the competitive history, and I'll never forget leaving the arena and going back to the hotel, walking through the lobby, getting mad love from everybody. So that was something that's super special to me. I'll never forget.
Awesome, Frankie. And by the way, excellent t-shirts for that fight. Excellent. The lawyer knows what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, anybody listening, if you remember Frankie Edgar's t-shirt for that fight, put it in the comments and we'll shout you out in the next video. We'll shout you out as a true MMA fan, a scholar, and a gentleman.
Yeah, I remember that shirt. It was elemental, to give you fucksticks a little hint in case you're trying to win that elusive shout out. But anyway, round 2 coming up. So Frankie, I asked this question to a lot of our guests. I still find it an interesting question, considering you guys are all former UFC champions, the absolute cream of the crop when it comes to being a bad motherfucker. So with that in mind, Frankie, who is the baddest motherfucker that you ever met, period? 5 rounds. Ragu!
Toughest motherfucker I ever met. I'm going to have to say my high school wrestling coach, Mr. Reed. He has been the first and only wrestling coach at my high school. I think he started in 78 and he's still there at 2020. He's got to be in his 70s. The guy doesn't not miss a workout. Super tough. He taught us to be tough. He's a hard-nosed, old-school guy. Couple of time All-American in college. He just doesn't take a day off. He got his appendix taken out, and he just said, I didn't do abs today. You
know, somehow I knew he was going to pick somebody from the wrestling world as the toughest motherfucker he's ever come across. Yeah, that world is just littered, packed to the brim with tough dudes, obviously.
I think more accurately, you were hoping it was someone from the wrestling world, considering you're a wrestling groupie. That's right, ladies and gents. The Fed is a sucker for a man in a singlet. Me? I'm more of a gear rash guard man myself. As much as I admire wrestlers, I love choking them even more. Anyway, round 3 is yours, Fetty Munster.
All right, question number 3. Frankie, Frankie, I don't know how many of your fans know this, but you were somewhat of a street fighting man in your younger days, huh? So tell me, look around, name me a public figure that you would like to fight.
Round Trinity.
Public figure I would like to fight. I'm gonna have to say Governor Murphy right now in the state of New Jersey, just because he's closed everything down. No, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, he's pissing me off a little bit, but I don't think he'd want to take that fight. So yeah, I don't know. That's the only public figure I got a beef with right now.
Oh, don't even get me started with this corona shit, shutdown and everything. It's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, the whole shutdown stuff sucks. But the governor of NEW Jersey, that's the public figure you want to fight most, Frankie? Each their own, I guess. So for round 4, and I don't mean to dampen the mood, what was your reaction to your fight being canceled this past weekend and it not happening on that gigantic UFC 250 card this past Saturday? 5 rounds. Round 4!
Reaction to my fight getting canceled, I was bummed, but luckily it's getting rebooked for August 15th. You know, I knew this could be an issue, fighting during this pandemic. So, you know, you got to adapt. Everyone is, going through some turmoil and some adversity, and I'm no one different. So, you know, we regroup and fight a month later. It's not that big a deal to me. I'm happy I get to fight Pedro. I've been preparing for him, and he's a great matchup and a very, very tough fighter. So, lucky we got rebooked August 15th.
I hear you, Frankie. Best to have a positive attitude about things, and this little delay will give you some extra time to prepare. Glass half full, right? So for round 5, the final round, I'd love to hear your opinion on the title fights this past Saturday at UFC 250. A couple of your old foes, former opponents Jose Aldo and Max Holloway, were in action, each vying to become champions again. So my question is, what do you think about those 3 title fights that happened, and did you agree in particular with the Max Holloway decision? Him dropping that close decision to Volkanovski. 5 rounds. Round 5!
Man, I do the first fight. What was Yan and Aldo. I thought Aldo looked pretty good early on, and then Yan just came strong and started pouring it on. I don't know if Aldo is just he's lost a little fire towards the end of the fight, and I don't know if he's long in the tooth or whatnot. It's just the way it goes. But Yan looked good. He came on strong, finished strong, and I don't know if that ref could have stopped a little sooner, but he gave Aldo every chance in the world to kind of come back. And then Holloway and Volkanovski, man, I thought Holloway won. First 3 rounds. I believe he dropped Volkanovski a couple times, and Volkanovski did a good job of making it competitive in 4 and 5, but I still thought Holloway won. Again, I like to see those guys fight again sometimes, so we'll see. But that was a great fight. A shame that Holloway didn't get to walk away with it and maybe saw a trilogy, but man, judging's rough in this sport at times. And then Usman and Masvidal, it's kind of how I thought it would go. Props to Masvidal. He's always been one of my favorite guys to watch. He's just got that fighter in him. Don't care. He's there to fight, and the way he stepped up. But Usman is just, I think he's just another level, superior athlete. Kind of went the way I thought. Like I said, he was going to take him down when he had to, put him up against cage when he had to, and got the job done. So, yeah. If Masvidal maybe had some more time, I don't know if the outcome would be different, honestly, just the way that matchup goes.
Yeah, man, completely agree on all counts. Jan went out there. He did what I thought he was going to do. Aldo looked good early, like you said, but Jan was just too much for him as the fight wore on, and he got the stoppage. As far as Max, I thought him losing was complete bullshit. Full disclosure, I did have a little action. I did put a few ducats on Holloway. I thought he was being seriously undervalued in the betting lines as a 2-1 underdog. And I knew he had the championship experience and vet savvy to make the necessary adjustments to go and win his belt back, and would be able to adjust to things like the leg kicks, get his belt back, which he did in my opinion, but he got robbed. And he was another victim of incompetent judging as far as I saw it. As far as the Masvidal fight, I think him not getting that true championship fight camp zapped a lot of his chances against Usman, where he was only able to explode in very soft spots. He had to conserve his energy. I mean, people could say all they want that he was training the whole time, but training is one thing, and being in a camp, in particular, a camp to go 5 rounds with the champion of the world in your weight class, is an entirely different thing. So, he was definitely a little hindered, and I think it's only fitting they run that back, and that he's rewarded for stepping up on such short notice and saving that card. All right, Frankie. Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you on. Is there anything else you want to say before you go?
But great fights. Fight Island was awesome. Too bad I didn't get the fight there, but August 15th. Hopefully you guys will be watching. Take care.
Oh, you know we'll be watching, Frankie. UFC 251 on August 15th. Frankie the Answer Edgar, ladies and gentlemen. One of the true greats in a class act.
Frankie the Answer Edgar, ladies and gentlemen. Stellar interview. All right, guys. 5 rounds. Another 5 rounds in the books. Coming up next week, one of the greatest of all time, without a doubt. One of the most beloved fighters of all time. Naturally. Wink, wink. Check in next time for The Lawyer and the Fed. 5 more rounds coming your way next week.
That's right, another huge guest. Once again, another UFC champion, and if the Fed's not so cryptic hinted and tip you off, I'll give you another. This guy is one of the very few fighters in UFC history to win titles in multiple weight classes. Can't wait. Once again, props and thanks to my man Frankie Edgar. Wish him the best in his upcoming fight, UFC 251. Alright guys, this is The Lawyer, repping 5 rounds with The Lawyer and the Fed. Another great episode in the cane. So let's keep it going. If you haven't done it, make sure you click that button right there to subscribe. Make sure to like us, and feel free to tell us what you think. If you love us or you think we're shit. Alright, we'll catch you next time. Peace.